Back from the AIHP Knowledge Sharing Summit with lots of great ideas. And I hope some of you who might be listening in today might have gotten some good ideas too, and mostly, hopefully, got back okay. So today we're just really going to go through, this is going to be a guerrilla marketing kind of list of great ideas. I'm going to throw out a whole bunch of things that you can do to rev up your slower seasons when it comes to marketing, and hopefully one or two or more will work for you. So let's get going. As you all know, the slow season varies by climate. In New England, winter and spring are slower. Certainly what we call mud season in April is about the slowest. And then they're busier at that time of year in the warmer climates like Florida and Arizona. And summer and fall, on the other hand, are busy in New England and yet slower in those warmer climates. So certainly slow season varies by climate. So the first thing I'm going to suggest is to use that slow season to review and update your marketing. Let's start with websites. Take this time to review every single page of your website. Go and look at every word on your website, page by page. Is it current? Is it up to date? And if not, spend some time during the off season updating the language, and we're going to talk about the photos too, so that you can have your best selling tool, which is your website, perfect and in shape for when you really need it to sell the busy season. Use this time to give the website a fresh look with some new photos. Take pictures while you can and update the photos on that website to give it a fresh look. That's a quick fix that you can do, but it really makes a difference because people look at pictures, they don't read. If you don't already have pictures of people and the guest experience on your website, then make sure that you do. Take the time to work with a photographer when you have, rooms that are empty, and use your friends and your models, or, use friends as models for demonstrating some of the guest experiences that people have at your website. We did at the knowledge sharing session knowledge sharing conference, we did 2 workshops on the importance of really defining that guest experience, and these pictures will help to do that. Certainly, it's a good time. The slow season is a good time to get out and take pictures of the fun things to do. As you know, those pictures tell 1,000 words, and promoting your off-season activities on social media, in your blogs, in your newsletters, and of course on your website will really make a difference in letting people know what the experience is at your B&B and why they should come and visit you during the slower season. So there you go, capturing some more pictures of the slower season. What you see here are springtime on the left, springtime in New England. In the middle, mud season in New England, and on the right, hot summer season in Arizona. This is also a good time to explore some of the free photo sites. On the last webinar, I mentioned too that I use a lot, and there seemed to be a lot of interest in that. So if you weren't in on the last website, or last webinar, I'm sorry, the last Bed and Breakfast webinar, I'm going to tell you about 2 great free photo sites. The first one you see here is called Pexels, P-E-X-E-L-S, and the second one is called Pixabay. And both of these offer gorgeous free images that are copyright free and shared by photographers and contributors. And a lot of the photos that you see in this webinar were taken from both of those sites. So you'll see that the kind of imagery that you can get, if you don't have, if you're looking for images for your content, your website, your blogs, and so on, jot these 2 names down and go and spend some time during the off season exploring what kind of photos are available to you. Are you thinking of changing reservation systems, perhaps? Well, you don't want to upgrade your PMS system when you've got a full house, that's for sure. Use this slower season to move everything over, to get to know your new property management software, and to work with your new webmaster or the reservations folks to help you move everything. This is the slow season is another great time to create packages and especially partnerships with different other innkeepers. Meet with your fellow innkeepers, your colleagues, and take some time to do some brainstorming. This is the time that you've got, and you might even have a little fun along the way too. Take that slow season and spend some time creating content. I know that a lot of people don't read that content, but search engines certainly do, and it's important for that reason too. So if it's too hard to focus on writing blogs or some of the other text that you need to do for your website when you're in the high season, take some time during the slow season to create that content and really put some thought into it. I found a bunch of great off-season content ideas, at least food ideas that you might be able to use as blogs or kind of copy these ideas. 10 recipes that actually taste better with frozen berries rather than fresh ones. How to can and jar fruits to last all year long. How to make a healthy smoothie with frozen berries. 3 fruits that can withstand winter winds. I loved that one. So some of these kinds of ideas during the off season really work well to create some excitement about, perhaps when fruits aren't fresh or other foods aren't fresh, create some excitement about alternatives. Review your reviews. Take some time to look at the reviews you received during your hectic months. And don't forget, reviews on Google, TripAdvisor, your email reviews or correspondence with guests, Facebook, comment cards, and even those journals in your guest room. Look through those. Take some time to analyze what you're doing right, because 99% of those reviews are going to say wonderful things about you. So what are you doing right, and what could possibly need improvement? This is an important time to really be able to focus on areas of improvement, if there are any, and to really give yourself a pat on the back for all those fabulous things that you do right. You can update your marketing message and perhaps better represent the type of experience people will have at your property based on really taking some focused time to review what other people are saying about your bed and breakfast or you're in. Maybe make a spreadsheet. Maybe, whatever works for you. Write down some of those common themes and go back and look and see if that kind of language and those common themes are really emphasized in your website and in your other marketing materials. Here's a good time. Our slow season is a good time to send email newsletters, especially to frequent guests. Maybe during your slower season is when the frequent guests might want to come up and stay, especially when you offer special discounts to them. This is a good time to bring the price down for those that will love you no matter what season it is. If you haven't already created a rewards program, and a lot of innkeepers don't have them, but I'm seeing more and more of them coming up, try that. Try using your slower season to create a rewards program and to really launch it. Then during the busier season, when when your bookings heat up, people can really start collecting those points. This is a picture right here of the Captain Lord Mansion in Kennebunkport, Maine. And what you see is their memory walk, which after 10 visits to the Captain Lord Mansion, your name goes on a brick that lasts forever in their memory walk. They've been in business 40 years. I think they're celebrating their 40th anniversary this year. And so this memory walk has gotten so long that it had to kind of wrap around the yard and go across the street and so on. And I know from the innkeepers at the Captain Lord Mansion that because of this reward system, once people get to perhaps visit number 8, they'll be booking another visit just in order to get their name, booking another visit, another 2 visits, another 3 visits, just to make sure that they get their name on one of these bricks. Their rewards program is phenomenal. It's a great example if you want to go take a look at a good B&B reward system. That's Captain Lord Mansion in Kennebunkport. Of course, during your slower season, I probably don't need to tell you, it's a great time to spruce up rooms and do the deep cleaning. You already know that. That's something that happens, I'm sure. A lot of inns during the slowest season shut down in order to do that kind of deep cleaning. But I thought you couldn't not mention it because it is an important thing to do during your slower season. That's a room renovation that's happening right now, by the way, during the slower season in New England. Slow season is a time to get social. Start posting even more than you ever have before. I know what happens during your busy season. You just lose track of things like posting on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and so on. But during the slower season, get back into it. Give guests a reason to like you and interact with you. Contests, promotions, especially Facebook, they have changed their algorithm so that the only people that are going to communicate with you are people who interact with you. So in order to be seen, you have to create interaction with your guests. I'm sure most of you belong to a chamber of commerce, and each of those chambers has a business after hours event or a chamber after hours event, or open houses. This is slow season is a great time to make sure local businesses know you're there, and a great time to hold your open houses and host their seminars, their workshops, and especially their out-of-town visitors. Make sure that their chamber members know who you are. How often do you hear over and over again, I didn't know you were here? And that is the worst thing you want to hear. So make sure that you're inviting, during your slower season, invite your colleagues, invite your local businesses to come and tour the B&B so they know that you're there. How about creating some off-season events? The Christmas Prelude, the first 2 weeks of December have really, really, really built the season for Kennebunkport, for example. The Daffodil Festival, you see that in the upper right in Nantucket. Wonderful job of getting people to take a ferry 2 hours out into the ocean and visit Nantucket during the springtime. And the Crawfish Festival down in New Orleans is another one that, as the season winds down, the Crawfish Festival helps to bring people to New Orleans. How about creating some reasons for interaction? As I said before, you're really going to want to think about conversations and topics that will engage your fans. For those who are interested in doing advertising, slow season is a great time to think about working with Google AdWords and building some attention, driving traffic to your website, or Facebook, for example, doing some Facebook or Twitter advertising to build that interaction, to build that fan base, and to drive traffic to your different sites. Of course, you're going to want to add inventory on BedandBreakfast.com, because during the time that you have more inventory, why not make sure that you're getting it out there on the OTAs? During slow season, it's a perfect time to piggyback on local events. Many of you probably have anything from shopping malls to different attractions that have their preferred lodging properties. So make sure that when local events are taking place, you're the official lodging property for that event. I know I talked to Teresa at the Bed and Breakfast on Tiffany Hill, and she said she's the official property for the music festival that takes place down in North Carolina near her. That's a great way to make sure that during your slower season, you're filling up rooms and creating partnerships that will help drive people right into your B&B. Another thing you can do during the slow season is hype the high season. Why not try and get people to to book in advance? When the heat wave is on, get people thinking about winter. When it's winter, create a reason for your summer stays. I've been seeing a lot of this as the seasons change, And I like the idea of letting the content and the photography build upon the excitement of things to come. You can always offer early bird or off-season discounts to those who book now. And of course, that makes it a lot easier on you when you're not having to deal with so many last-minute bookings. Take some time during the slow season to hone in on your market. Take a look at the guests who've been your guests in the past. Identify the common traits. Baby boomers, are they married couples with no kids? Probably. Are they baby boomers? Most likely. Are they business travelers? Are you seeing more younger guests or more millennials? Are there more last minute getaways? Think about who's coming, when they're coming, how they're coming, what they like to do, and use the slow season to design specials and packages that cater to these kinds of guests and the things that they like to do and their habits when they book. Maybe create some last minute. If you're seeing that you have a lot of last minute travelers, maybe create some kind of a 2-week long promotion for last minute travelers during the slower season. How about some whole house opportunities? I've talked to a number of innkeepers who host family reunions and host them only during the slower seasons when the whole house is open and available to family reunions. A number of innkeepers have tried to do family reunions and had varying degrees of success, but obviously the best time to do them and to offer up the whole house to larger groups is during the slow season. The Iris Inn in Virginia does a really good job of this, and you can go and take a look at their website and see a good example of how they promote it. Workshops. A lot of workshops can take place during the slower season. Quilting workshops, knitting workshops, painting workshops. The Landgrove Inn, they host at least 20 different kinds of different workshops, bringing in, as you can see right here, they have a whole nav bar or a button on their website that is dedicated just to their art workshops. They bring in 20, maybe even more like 25 different artists, different kinds of artists, fiber artists, watercolors, ceramic potters, and so on, and they host art workshops throughout the slower season. It appears to be quite popular at the Landgrove Inn. I loved these knitting and spinning retreats at the Inn at East Hill Farm. Again, March 23rd to 25th is a slow season for them. Why not fill it with knitting and spinning people who love to knit and spin if that happens to be one of your hobbies too, and you could host something like that. Well, seminars and conferences are a whole workshop in and of itself. In fact, we did one of these BedandBreakfast.com webinars. You'll see a link to it at the bottom of this page on building seminar and conference business. But during the slow season, why not offer up your living room or your common rooms, your dining room for some seminars and conferences or workshops for some of your local businesses too? Walnut Street Inn does a great job with that. There's a number of inns and B&Bs that are members of BedandBreakfast.com that do a great job promoting seminars and conferences. Saratoga Arms is another really good one in Saratoga Springs. Slow time is the time for wellness weekends, and I really have been seeing so much media attention being put on wellness weekends. It seems to be a theme that's trending. So put them together and offer them during your slow season. You know, wellness does not necessarily just refer to spa services. Wellness can be everything from food related to fitness to just teaching people to experience nature and experience relaxation. It could be so many different things that qualify as a wellness weekend. Yoga. So just think about how you might be able to incorporate this interest that people have in wellness weekends, and then perhaps put one together for your upcoming slow season, whenever it is. Are you near an airport? if you're near an airport, have you thought about offering some kind of free parking with a one-night stay on each end of the trip only during the slow season? Of course, this, makes a huge difference how much parking you have available. And you may say to yourself, oh, I can't offer up our parking lot. We don't have enough space for our own guests. If that's the case, this isn't for you. But perhaps you're in a place that you are near an airport. You could put together a package where if they stay with you at the beginning of the stay and at the end of the stay, then they can park with you for free, or in some cases, park with you for a discounted price. Might be just something to think about in order to fill rooms during the off season. Wouldn't work so much during the regular season unless you have a lot of parking. But and then you could work it out with either Uber or be willing to drive them yourself to the airport and back. It sounds like a fabulous package that I haven't seen many B&Bs do, but I know that hotels do that, and it's very profitable and just something that could work. Don't forget about staycations during the slower season. It's a time that locals can relax too. So why not offer some special locals only midweek packages and throw in a lot of things to do. Throw in a lot of extras for those people that are living locally or within your state to come and enjoy time with you. It's a great way to be able to get rooms, filled during that slower season when you're looking for more bookings. How about date nights? Date nights can be one-night packages. I know a lot of you probably cringe at the idea of a one-night package, but midweek date nights are a great way during the slower season to fill in some, those slower midweek rooms. So here's an example of a midweek Date Your Mate package from the Chesterfield Inn in West Chesterfield, New Hampshire. They do, it's an easy way for you to be able to perhaps celebrate, or guests to be able to celebrate an anniversary, a birthday, something like that. The package includes champagne, dinner, breakfast in the morning, and you could leave work early one day, come back a little later the next day, and still have this fabulous getaway package. It works pretty well for selling midweek rooms. So, throughout every one of the seminars and workshops at the most recent AIHP Knowledge Sharing Summit, we talked about the word experiences or local experiences. I'm telling you, almost every single workshop focused on that. This is the buzzword in travel these days. People are looking for local experiences. They want to experience what is unique about your area. So remember that. Think about what is it that makes your region incredibly wonderful. And it doesn't have to be a fabulous, skydiving, parachuting experience. It might just be the wonderful farm nearby. People might want to just go and be able to feed the sheep, for example, because that's a cool local experience. I'll tell you an aside. My daughter, who's in college, loves to visit Ireland. And when she goes there, the one thing that she looks most forward to is not necessarily seeing the beautiful coast, but it is feeding the sheep on the hillsides. So I had to put a picture of a lamb in there, of course. Create itineraries introducing guests to those local experiences. Put together farm tours, guided fishing experience, or maybe in the winter, ice fishing. A lot of people have never tried that and might want to. Perhaps a guided artisan tour, or certainly winery and microbrewery tours are fabulous. If you have a lot of museums, maybe create a museum, list of museums, or a museum day that your guests can put together. You give them a map and they put together their own self-guided tour of the museums. Anything that introduces them to local experiences are the things that people are looking for right now. Why not create an end-to-end itinerary? Again, at the Knowledge Sharing Seminar, conference that AIHP did, I did a whole workshop on creating end-to-end itineraries. The Vermont end-to-end Country Inns Along the Trail website and business actually grew out of this. It started out with walking tours, I believe, or maybe it started out with Indian biking tours. And there was so much interest in biking from end to end along these Vermont trails that they expanded this business to include hiking and walking tours, skiing tours, and in some cases they do events and food events at each one of the inns. It's really grown into from a small end-to-end itinerary in 1975 to a whole business where people can experience the end-to-end. They can visit inns through walking, hiking, skiing itineraries. The thing that people love about this is the chance to not only see the outdoors and maybe do some biking on a beautiful Vermont trail, but also the chance to see a number of different inns and B&Bs and have different experiences. During your slower season, take the time to stock your gift shop or create a new one. If you haven't already got one, you'll have a little bit of time to poke through some of the stores in your area and create a lovely little gift nook, gift closet, gift shelves, whatever you have room for, and spend a little bit of time filling it with local things that people can take home with them. Those are the hot sellers, along with your mugs. I hear from innkeepers all the time how much mugs and the comfy sheets really sell well in these gift shops. This is also a time during the slow season that you can reach out to local businesses. You can use that time to reconnect with your colleagues, remind them that you're there to provide lodging for their guests, whether it be hospitals, colleges, even those in your neighborhood, because during Christmas or Thanksgiving, when their houses aren't big enough to provide enough accommodations for their guests, remind your neighbors that they can turn to you. It's a good idea to deliver muffins or your signature dessert just to get them top of mind. And just to finish this up, I'm sure you are all wondering when I was going to tell you to take some time during the slow season to relax and refresh, because by all means, you deserve it after a busy season to take some time to relax and give yourself a little you time. Do what it is that you like to do, whether it's traveling or just finally sleeping or unplugging and getting away from all of the rat race. Take some time during that slow season to rev your own engines too. So there you go. That was a quick 40 ideas for things to do during the slow season. I hope that it has helped and that some of these ideas have spurred something that you might be able to do as you either approach your slow season or approach your busy season and look forward to your slower season later on. Any questions?
All right. Thank you, Marty. Feel free, anybody, to put any questions in the questions box and we'll go through them. Let me see. I'm looking now, see if we've gotten any questions.
Your questions don't have to be about slow and busy season. It could really be about anything.
We got a couple people saying thank you so much. I agree, Marty. Great ideas. And one thing I was going to point out, if you ever, when we're going through these, or you see an upcoming topic that you feel like you have really done a great, you've launched something great at your property that you'd like highlighted, feel free to reach out to Marty and we'd love to include you. We're always looking for new, fresh ideas. So if there's ever something that you'd like to share, feel free to reach out to Marty. Here's her info. And we'll definitely try to include you in some of the upcoming webinars.
Also, I would add to that, if there's a subject that you would love to see a webinar focused on, let us know that too.
Yes, please. These are obviously supposed for you guys, so whatever content you think would be helpful, just definitely let us know. Peter McLaren says he likes all of the workshop ideas. However, do we reach the interested people? ? Just having a website page doesn't seem to be enough. So I guess how to kind of promote the different things once you launch a new idea or something like that during the slow season, how do you then get the word out?
Well, good question, Peter. I think that you can't just turn to your website to promote that idea. You really have to put together a multifaceted approach. You need to promote it as an event on Facebook. You need to get it out there through other social media channels, especially if it's geared toward younger people, through things like Twitter and Instagram. You need to blog about it. You need to talk to your local media about the fact that you've put together this workshop, and you need them to highlight it, not just local media. If, for example, it's something that's niche oriented, like you've put together a painting workshop, let's say, or a gardening workshop in your case, Peter, and you're going to teach people how to garden, then get that word out to gardening magazines, to gardening websites, to, put together a target list of 10 different places you'd love to have share the information about that workshop, and give them the who, what, where, when, and how of that workshop, and invite them to come too, so that in the future, if you repeat it, they'll talk about it then. It needs to be kind of a multi-pronged approach, and man does not live by a web page alone. It really needs to be integrated into everything you do. In some cases, you might be able to put together some kind of a flyer or a little table tent where you could sell that workshop during the busy season, and convince people to come back during the slower season to attend it. Or maybe give them something at checkout time with a little piece of paper that should be posted on their refrigerator, and tell them to do it, or even create a little magnet out of it, and tell them to come back. Tell everyone who's there during the busy season to come back during the slow season and experience that workshop or that event.
Awesome. Looks like we have another question. Let's see, from Victoria Brown. She's asking, she loves the gift shop idea, but we're a non-hosted B&B, so how do you think we could do something like that? I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I think she means that there's not a host on the property.
I think you could probably, I've got to believe that there is a host there during certain times, like, for example, during check-in times or during breakfast. So if you created some kind of a gift shop that was only open during the times that somebody is there to open it and sell things, that would work too. The other option is to bring it all online. And a lot of innkeepers sell certain things like their own mugs, their cookbooks, and so on online. So if you wanted to create kind of a virtual gift shop, that's another option. But I'm sure that during certain times there is somebody there who could open the gift shop and just have limited hours.
Yeah. I was also thinking, and I'm not sure how possible this is, but I was talking to an innkeeper at the AIHP conference, and he was saying they don't have like a mini bar, but they just put 2 different bottles of wine in the room and have a tag on it with the price. And so then if you drink one of the bottles, you'll be charged for it. I wonder if you could do something like that in the rooms, like maybe have some of the mugs and say, if you'd like to keep one of these mugs, feel free to take it and we'll charge you afterwards, or something like that. Just an idea. Not sure about the logistics, but something you could potentially try.
And the innkeepers do the same kind of thing with robes. I've seen that too.
Yeah,
so you could have your mugs and your robes, and you know how many are in each room, and so the sign could just basically say, "You're welcome. These are for guest use. These robes and mugs are for your use while you're here. If you would like to take it home with you, let us know. And if you do take it home and don't let us know, don't worry, you will be charged." Just kidding.
If the robe is not there when we return, you will be charged.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think that's about it. Doesn't look like we have any other questions. So I appreciate your time as always, Marty, and I know all of the innkeepers do too. So thanks everybody for joining us today. We will, as always, send out the recording afterwards. One thing I did want to note is we're going to move the April webinar, which is around pet tips for pet-friendly inns. We're going to move that webinar back a little bit. I think potentially maybe to August, just given everyone's schedules here, and then also with the innkeepers' schedules typically kind of starting up around that time as well. So we'll be moving that webinar. If you're already registered, you'll get a notice about it. If not, just keep an updated look on our upcoming events calendar, and we will start again with our webinars in May. So we appreciate your time.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.